Hello there, and welcome back to a Star Wars story. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to let YouTube know that the Force is strong with this channel. This is our spoiler-free review for Ahsoka Episode 4. It was written by Dave Filoni, directed by Peter Ramsey, and there is a lot to say about it, but in terms of it being a spoiler-free review, there's a lot we're not going to say. So if you haven't watched our previous reviews, the way this works is very simple. We're not going to discuss major plot developments, character reveals, character revelations, character appearances, character debuts. We're not going to spoil the plot. We're not going to spoil character appearances or cameos, even if it's considered an insignificant cameo or appearance that maybe the entire fan base wouldn't know. We're not going to do that in terms of what we're talking about in these spoiler-free reviews. Because obviously, my goal and my intention is to always have these up as quickly as possible. And not everyone watches it as instantly as it airs, but I still want to have my thoughts and my feelings on display. So really what we're talking about is how I feel coming out week to week. And the first thing that I want to say and comment on, because I saw a few of these comments over the last couple of weeks, there is a question on dropping an entire series at once and binging it through, or the old school method, how I grew up. You had to wait for an episode to air on television. You had to wait for a new episode. And coming out of episode 4, and I felt this way even going into episode 4, not knowing exactly what episode 4 was going to be, I still feel that same way. I believe wholeheartedly that shows work best outside of the binge. I think in terms of consumers, in terms of people, in terms of marketing, we are better able to consume the media. We're better able to recall it and memorize it and take it in and have time to digest it and rewatch it since it is on streaming. I believe in this kind of weekly scheduling. I very strongly believe in it, and I think tonight's episode is on full display. I think coming out of this episode, there is a lot to talk about. I think this is the strongest in terms of the arc. Looking at this episode now, I very much so stand by my original theory, and more than that, you can see very clearly what Dave has constructed. I think everything is... I think by the end of this episode, we're all going to agree, like, we know where this is going, okay? And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe what I see isn't going to be what the second half of this is going to be, or the next arc, the final arc of this season. But coming out of episode 4, there's nothing else to say but wow, it was incredible. It continued to exceed, and Filoni's scripts continue to build on everything that has come before. This is a beyond exceptional episode. This is an amazing episode of television. Not just Ahsoka. I want to be clear for that. Not just Ahsoka, not just Star Wars. This is a really amazing piece of television. And in terms of Star Wars, in terms of nostalgia, wow. This was it. This was the turning point for the series. This was the turn. This is going to deliver us into the back half of the season. It's in terms of every minuscule direction where it can go. I could theorize and talk about it all day, and we got to have a live stream and get into that separately, and being able, having a more spoiler-filled discussion after more have watched, right? But this is continuing to feel like the definitive Star Wars on television. This continues to feel like the full Star Wars package. This is classic. This is iconic. This is the monomyth. This is everything on display. Everything that George Lucas talked about. Everything that Kirshner talked about. Everything that Filoni has talked about. Everything that's preached about Star Wars is on full display. And they're getting it right every single week. But this week's was something special because the first 3 episodes were building to a point, right? And this achieves that as vaguely as possible. This really puts an exclamation point on those first 3 episodes. It is so powerful and so gripping and so riveting. And I do not believe this is an empty statement to say that Ray Stevenson and Ivana, I apologize. I know her. I know the character's name, right? Balin and Shin. They steal it so much. They are so enchanting and mesmerizing to watch, and just holy cow, it was a good episode. I am enthralled by it. This is an episode where I wish there was an opportunity to see. I wish there was a way to see it in theaters with a whole bunch of fans. I wish there was a fan screening for these episodes, for the first 4 episodes, even just for this first arc, because again, I stand by it. This really does feel like an arc, and you can see how it goes into the next one, right? But to be able to watch these in a big screen, especially now that we have episode 4, it just feels like the show begs for it. It is such a cinematic experience from the script to the directing. It is beautiful and amazing, and that's one thing about all these directors. They all bring something different to the table, but they're all building off what Filoni did in that first episode, and it makes it stronger for it because there is a cohesive vision. It's not a matter of any one director is better than another. This isn't a competition. That isn't the kind of conversation I'm interested in getting into. It is the strength of the director and the collaborative process. There is no ego. Everyone is building upon the blueprints that Filoni captured in that pilot, in that series premiere. And they have done an exceptional job of capturing all of these critical moments in terms of these characters and in terms of the overall season of what Ahsoka is going through. And where this ends is such a strong statement. So when we talk about how we feel coming out of an episode, and in terms of spoiler-free, that's really the best thing to say for it. The choreography, the cinematography, the script, the performances, it is classic Star Wars. This feels so much like a spiritual, and given the timeline, but it spiritually captures the original trilogy so well. It spiritually captures so much of what Lucas was doing with his 6 episodes. And it feels like that kind of continuation on the level of what the Clone Wars was. And that is the highest praise I can give it. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And what they did in this episode has excited me so much because they are delivering, and they continue to deliver, and they continue to excel past my expectations, which, as a Star Wars fan, as someone who is already so giddy just because of how much I've enjoyed the first 3 episodes, wow. Episode 4 took it to another level. I am over the moon right now. It truly is fine television. You're not going to find something more entertaining and more fun to watch with you and your family this week. This is what you need to be watching. Don't get behind. If you still have not watched Ahsoka, it is not too late. You need to get in now before everything starts getting spoiled. You need to experience this yourself. I highly, highly recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. Above all else, and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and remember that the Force will be with you always.